everybody. Welcome to another episode of Two Strike Noise, your weekly baseball history podcast. My name's Jeff. I am one half of the show. The other half, Mark A. Johnston. A little under the weather. I don't know if it's heat stroke or what's going on there, Mark, but your team's in first place at the All-Star break.
Yeah, well, it's not cold stroke. So it could be heat stroke. I don't know, but you know what? We're almost professionals, so I'm going to go ahead and sally forth and try and do a decent show. Sally
forth? Is that like, wasn't there a comic? Not a comic strip, really, but
It's a British saying, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, I remember on the comics page growing up, after I read all the box scores, right before I would drink the cereal milk, I would read the comics. And it was more like a graphic novel called Sally Forth, I think. It was more serious or something.
That's not what I meant, though.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm feeling, since I threw in one phrase like that, I'll also say that I'm feeling tickety-boo right about now.
Okay. Well, I have plenty of British phrases. I don't think we're safe for work, though, so I'm not going to say them.
Oh, but well, yeah.
Let's get right into some baseball because that's what we do here. This is show number 257. So that means we've talked about baseball for 256 other shows. So we might as well just keep it up.
No need to switch it up at this moment.
No, we'll wait to switch to the basketball history podcast next week.
Yes, and we'll still talk about baseball.
Yes, because I hate talking about basketball, so that's a good thing. Let's get into our BP segment here. We've got some all-star stuff that we'll cover here. I did mention that the Mariners are in first place at the all-star break. Has that ever happened? I guess 2001 it probably happened.
2001, I believe we were ahead most of the season. I mean, maybe if we weren't, it would have been like the first week that the Mariners weren't in first place.
Well, we're technically, they call it the halfway point. We're more than halfway through the season here. I saw this blew my mind. First of all, the A's just destroyed the Phillies the day before the All-Star break on Sunday.
Gosh, yeah, they did. It was weird.
Yeah, they took 2 of 3 there in Philadelphia, which is also weird. But did you know that the A's own the 3 highest scoring games in baseball this season?
No, I did not know that.
They scored 20 runs on May 4th. I don't know who this is against, and I apologize. You would think I would remember when they scored this many runs. They scored 20 runs on May 4th, 19 on July 6th, and then that game against the Phillies, they scored 18. So they've scored 18, 19, and 20 runs in games this year. Come on, man. What? Yet, you know what? MLB The Show still has them ranked as the worst team in the league, even worse than the White Sox, who are on pace to break every losing record that the A's were on pace to break last year.
Right. I think the A's have figured out that hitting is contagious and they like getting sick.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they got hot there in Philadelphia, and then they're taking a week off for the All-Star break. Let's see. We've talked about this before, about Andrew McCutcheon and his furry hot streak that happens every year. I guess not every. Well, it happens every year. There's a conference. It's called Anthrocon, where the furries all go and they hang out in Pittsburgh when McCutcheon is on the Pirates, because he's been elsewhere. But he is fascinated by them, and they bring him good luck. So heading into, I think this was last season. I don't know what he did last year when he tweeted. And all he does is he just tweets one word, furries, in all caps. But since 2014 through last year, in 15 games when Anthrocon has been going on in Pittsburgh and the Pirates have been home, he has hit for a .419 average, a .479 on base, and a .742 slugging percentage with 3 home runs.
Wow.
That is very impressive. But I think it's come to an end. This last time, like a week or so ago, the Pirates are home. Anthrocon was in town, and Kutch went 1 for 12 in the series with 6 Ks.
Ooh.
That's not good.
That's rough.
The magic might be over. It might have something to do that pretty much everyone in Anthrocon this year was dressed up as Grimace because the Mets were in town.
Oh, okay.
And Grimace is their unofficial mascot here. What do you say we talk a little bit All-Star Game?
Yeah, let's do that.
While we do that. So first of all, the home run derby. I'm not going to lie. I thought that new format was great.
No, I liked it a lot too, I got to say.
I thought that was great because you're not like, if you're the first guy and you hit like 6 home runs and then the second guy comes up and hits 7, you're out already. So this gave everybody kind of a chance to be in it for a while. I just really liked it. I thought the format was great. Then it goes to seeding, and then it goes 1v1 in the last 2 rounds. My favorite part, though, was Bobby Witt Jr. Just in amazement hearing Michael Buffer say his name.
Oh, that was awesome. I know. He's looking at his family like, can you freaking
I know. He was like looking up at his family in the stands, and then you could tell he was like, are you hearing this? This guy?
This is really Michael Buffer.
And he said my name. That was pretty cool. Just seeing.
That was awesome.
He was so happy about that. Some other things that went on in the All-Star game. I'm all for this. Bryce Harper wants to wear his team uniform for the All-Star game, and I'm so for this. Other than these just awful uniforms that they keep making just so that they can sell more uniforms.
Yep.
I really wish they would go back. I mean, there's plenty of shots of the 70s and 80s All-Star games when everybody had different colored uniforms. Let everybody wear their alternates or whatever. You'll get the same thing. All these no city jerseys though, please. But
no, we can't do that.
But it's nice and colorful. You get to see the team names as opposed to American or national and these stupid color schemes. And I'm so over it. But Rob Manfred says there will be conversations about that, but I'm not holding my breath because if it comes out of Rob Manfred's mouth, I don't generally believe it.
Who knows?
Bryce Harper also, he's from Las Vegas, if you didn't know that, and he does not want the A's to move at all. He says, one, the A's belong in Oakland, but he doesn't think this is going to work. If they did an expansion franchise, then sure, maybe. Who knows? But again, I don't think it's going to happen. By the way, still no official renderings of the proposed stadium in Las Vegas.
I've noticed they're not moving exactly what I would call a frantic pace.
No. And, they released the 8-acre armadillo renderings a while ago, which were not physically or even realistically possible in the real world. And they said in a true A's form that the official ones would be coming soon. They have not come. And I promise you that if this ever gets built, it will look nothing like what they showed earlier.
Yeah, guaranteed. I'm totally with you on that.
But my thought here is that the A's are actually going to end up either in Sacramento or maybe Salt Lake City. And speaking of Sacramento, where they're going to be playing for the next 3 years, this is just wreaking havoc with the MLB schedule. It seems, I think I literally just saw an email that the 2025 schedule was released right before we started recording this. But as the second tenant in a AAA stadium, minor league baseball, the teams play home one week and then they go on the road the next. So the A's have to slot their entire home schedule in between River Cat games, the Sacramento River Cats. So it's going to be really hard if they have to make up games on the road due to rainouts because they have a very tight schedule where they have to play at home. And I just don't know when the Players Association or even other owners step in and say that this is enough. But I hope it's soon.
Yeah, me too. It's become a joke.
Long since become a joke. But speaking of All-Star games, getting back to that, I saw a really interesting graphic of the last player for each team to have hit a home run in the All-Star game. And I can't believe it. First of all, the Arizona Diamondbacks have never had anybody hit a home run in the All-Star game, unless somebody did this year. And I didn't really watch most of the game. I watched the home run derby. I had the game on. I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to it. And I'll get to why that was in a minute. But the longest drought for a team since somebody has hit a all-star home run, we were just talking about him, the Oakland A's.
Oh, wow.
Terry Steinbach in 1988.
Oh, wasn't that the game winner?
Yeah, in Cincinnati. It was 2-1 or 2-0, whatever. But I didn't know that nobody had hit a home run for the A's since then. For the Expos /Nationals, Marquise Grissom in 1994. There are some names here. We've got Conine the Barbarian, Jeff Conine for the Marlins in 95. Last Padre was Ken Caminiti in 96. Let's see, last Dodger. Now, you would think that a Dodger would have hit a home run at some time in the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
No, it's Mike Piazza in 1996.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot of names here that kind of surprised me. What about your Mariners? Who was the last one? Do you think?
I think Ichiro hit one.
Well, he might have, but he had an Inside the Parker, didn't he? That was in San Francisco. I was there at Oracle, but I think I don't think I know Gene Segura in 2018 for the Mariners.
Oh yeah, I don't think about Gene all that much.
Gene the Hit Machine.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, he's still around, isn't he? I think he's.
I'm not sure.
Kicking around somewhere. I know he was last year, but. I'm just looking here. I should have looked here. I don't think anybody's on here twice. I don't see that anywhere. All right. Well, it's just interesting, especially with Steiny being so far way back there. Another thing about the All-Star game, was John Smoltz on the broadcast of the All-Star game?
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, man. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I know they had some other people in the booth, but I was also watching. There was a lot of big soccer events this last week. There was the Euros that I missed because I was playing, and then there was the Copa America, which I watched and was an incredible game. And I made a correlation here. Alexi Lawless. Do you remember Alexi Lawless? Do you know who that is?
I don't think so.
He was a U.S. national. Well, he was on the U.S. national teams where most people remember him in like the 90s. He's got red hair and it was out of control and huge. He's quite a personality. He is a football pundit now, and he is the John Smoltz of football commentary. He hates everything. He will rip on everybody and everything. It's really not fun to listen to. I did see, this cracked me up though, and this is just me. So if this isn't funny, it's my fault. I saw a story about the band Gwar. You know Gwar?
Oh, I know Gwar.
They wear these crazy costumes. I mean, it's just an experience. Well, I read the band name and I saw G-War, kind of like F-War or X-FIP or... I read it as a baseball stat. I saw G-War, and I'm like, oh, is there a new website that's got a new formula for war? What is this?
That's awesome.
So I apologize to Gwar for messing that up. All right, Mark, I got a quiz for you. Now, this is not the kind of quiz where I ask you trivia questions. This is a quiz on a quiz site that says, what MLB player are you?
Okay.
Are you ready to take this quiz?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Question number 1. Have you ever cheated in a game? Yes, often. No, never. There are a lot of answers. Sometimes, once in a while, which is the same as sometimes. Cheated, never. And then sort of, which again kind of falls in the sometimes or once in a while.
Yeah, I got to go with sort of, because I've been known to not necessarily break the rules, but maybe to push them a little bit.
Yeah. I've been doing that when I'm at second base. If somebody steals or slides into second base and makes a little mound of dirt in front of the base, I just leave it there so that it might slow somebody down or throw them off. But that's not cheating.
No, that's not cheating. That's just taking advantage of something that happened.
Yeah, I did offer my hand to somebody that stole a base, and they took it, and I helped them up, and they stepped off the bag, and I still had the ball, and I tagged them.
Ooh.
And he did not like that.
That's pretty sharp, actually.
Did not like that at all. Okay, question number 2. Has your team ever won a World Series or a game? Now, this is, I don't think whoever made this is a native English speaker. So I'm just going to say, has your team ever won a World Series? Answer number 1, yes, in 2006. No, not in over 100 years, which I think Cleveland has the longest drought, and I don't think it's been 100 years. More than one, or the final answer is just, it will.
That's a tough one for me, man. I'm going to go with the confidence and say it will.
It will? All right. Good, good, good. All right, next. What team do you like best out of these? Go. Cardinals, Giants, Cubs, Angels, Mets, or Cardinals pitching?
Wow. I'm not necessarily an Angels fan, but I don't have anything against the Angels.
Okay, got Mike Trout.
I'll root for them if the Mariners aren't in it.
Yeah. All right. You're not differentiating between the Cardinals and Cardinals pitching. Those are not.
I'm not going that direction now.
All right, Angels. How quick are you? Very quick. Quick. Considerably quick. Or not much.
Is there one slower than not much?
No. Although considerably quick seems kind of, you can go either way. All right, not much. Next, as a person, are you honest? This is turning into more of a personality quiz. Very honest. As much as one should be. Not much or no?
Well, it is a personality flaw. I am very honest.
Okay. You know what they're doing here is they're weeding out whether you're an astro or not.
Yes, I think so.
All right, next. What animal do you resemble? Elephant, dog, cat, tiger, or monkey?
So there's no goat?
No goat.
Okay. I guess I would go with dog.
Okay.
Got a lot of hair on my face.
This is determining what MLB player you are, which doesn't, whatever. Would you ever punch a Gatorade cooler if you were angry? Yes, no, maybe, or which is the same as maybe in my mind, but.
Well, okay, you got to help me out with this one because there was a day when I would have, but I wouldn't anymore.
Well, I want to know who you are now. These are relatively recent players.
No, I would not.
No. Okay. 2 more here. Intelligence. 1 out of 4, 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4, or 4 out of 4.
Well, I hate to toot my own horn here, but
2.
Yeah, I got to go higher than 1. Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm an intelligent guy, but if I say 4, I sound like a jerk.
Yeah, this is exactly when I took this quiz. This is exactly what I went with a 3 out of 4.
Yeah, see, Jeff, to me, you're a 4. You're a very intelligent guy.
Oh, well, I've got you fooled then.
Yes, I'm not a very good judge of character. We know that.
Yes. All right, so you want to go 3 or 4?
Let's go 3.
3. All right. How much do you play sports? Too much, more than many people, considerably enough, not much, or very rarely?
Actually play.
Play, yeah.
Yeah, very rarely.
Okay. And the final question, are you quick, powerful, both, agile, hot-headed, or a cheater? Those I don't understand the both unless both means quick and powerful.
That's what I would think. And that's certainly not me.
But you can't be agile and hot-headed. Like you only get one of these 6. So quick, powerful, both.
Okay.
Agile, hot-headed, or a cheater.
Okay. Something weird about me. I never fall down ever under any circumstances. It can be the weirdest thing, slick, ice, whatever. I don't fall down. Now I've set myself up. So next week I'll be talking about how I fell.
I was going to I was going to call you a weeblo. But that's a Boy Scout thing, isn't it? What are those old
Weebles?
Yeah,
wobble.
Yeah, they were heavy on the bottom, and they would just yeah.
Which happens to be me too. So I'll go with I'm agile.
All right. So here we go. What MLB player are you? Well, you're the exact same one as I am, but it gives completely different reasoning.
Okay.
We are Albert Pujols.
Oh, wow. I wish.
You are a very, very good and honest player. You do not use steroids or cheat in any way, shape, or form. You will probably be the next all-time home run leader.
Oh, me, yes.
You will play for the same team for a long time. So
I can see that.
I've taken this quiz now 3 times, and I've gotten Albert Pujols has been the answer, regardless of what answers get put in.
Maybe there are no other answers.
I'm beginning to believe that I've been suckered here. But we are Albert Pujols. So Albert Pujols episode incoming. All right, Mark, this show is debuting on July 19th. Wow. Some big names. This is one of those dates. There's a couple of them where the the guys that debuted on that day are just, you could put together a great team with them. First of all, 1897, Honus Wagner. Ever heard of him?
Yeah, he's got one of those cigarette cards.
Yeah, well, he debuted today in 1897. I want to say installed in the Hall of Fame. I don't know why that came to mind. In the very first class of 1936, he received the second highest vote total behind Ty Cobb's 222, and he was tied with Babe Ruth at 215. Some baseball historians, including Bill James, consider him to be the greatest shortstop ever. They've just probably never heard of Derek Jeter, I assume.
Oh, my.
Ty Cobb. Yeah, I knew that would get you. Ty Cobb himself called Wagner, quote, maybe the greatest star to ever take the diamond, end quote. He is also featured on, as you mentioned, one of the rarest and the most valuable baseball cards in existence. We can't forget his brother, Butts Wagner.
No. Okay.
We've spoken of Butts before. Yes. Honus played for the Louisville Colonels from 1897 through 1899, but was never a teammate of Pete Browning. When do we ever mention the Louisville Colonels and Pete Browning is not on the team we are referencing? It does not happen. Doesn't happen.
No, does not.
If you want to hear more about Pete Browning, just go back 2 weeks because we did a second show on Pete Browning. He's a star. Honus Wagner also starred as a sports hero, is what it said, in 1919's film entitled Spring Fever, which I have never heard of. But co-starring with him was Mo Howard and Shemp of the Three Stooges.
Wow.
So, maybe Honus Wagner was the third stooge in this movie. I don't know. Honus Wagner was tabbed by Mr. Burns as his starting shortstop on the company softball team in The Simpsons, but unfortunately he had passed away some 40 years earlier and was replaced by Ozzie Smith. The T206 baseball card that I referenced earlier, last one of them that was sold at auction was in 2022 for $7.25 million. Let's see. Also making his debut today, 1936, Bob Feller, Rapid Robert, pitched 12 one-hit games in his career, pitched the first no-hitter ever on opening day. He did that against the White Sox in 1940. He pitched the second no-hitter ever against the New York Yankees in 1946, and he pitched the third ever no-hitter against the Detroit Tigers in 1951. Feller was elected to the Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility in 1962, the first pitcher to do so since Walter Johnson, who was inducted in that initial class in 1936.
Wow.
That's crazy that no other pitcher got in their first try until then. Speaking of other pitchers, 1960, Juan Marichal, the Dominican dandy, also in the Baseball Hall of Fame, class of 1983. His big league debut today in 1960 took place in Candlestick Park. He threw a complete game shutout, struck out 12, walked 1, and only allowed 1 hit to Clay Dalrymple, which was a 2-out single in the 8th inning. So he's 4 outs away from a no-hitter, but he ended up with a 1-hit shutout, finished his career with 243 wins, which is the most by any pitcher born in the Dominican Republic. Well, it was at that point. He held that record for 43 years until he was passed by Big Sexy Bartolo Colon.
Oh, my.
I got to say Bartolo Colon like that when we say Big Sexy. Also, making his debut, these are great players. 1964, Louis Tiant made his debut.
Nice.
He also debuted at Yankee Stadium. He pitched a 4-hit complete game shutout. Besting Whitey Ford, he struck out 11 Yankees that day, 229 career wins, making him the only pitcher born in Cuba with 200-plus wins, well ahead of the next in the list, Dolph Lukey, who I have never heard of. Lukey? I'm not sure how you say that, with 194, Mike Cuellar, Levon Hernandez, and then Camilo Pascual. In the 1975 World Series, Game 1, he pitched a complete game shutout. On 4 days rest in Game 4, he pitched another complete game shutout, throwing 163 pitches, getting the win again. And then in Game 6, he started, 7 innings, and then Carlton Fisk hit some sort of home run in the extra innings that forced a game 7. Yeah, I think he did something with his arms. I'm not sure what it was. And finally, debuting in 1982, Tony Gwynn. 8 batting championships, which ties Honus Wagner for the most of those. Tony Gwynn led all National League right fielders in defensive putouts 3 times, assists 2 times, double plays twice, fielding percentage twice, and won 5 Gold Gloves. That is for all of our listeners that maybe didn't see Tony Gwynn as in his youth in the big leagues, because he was a really good, maybe 4-tool player. I mean, he had some pop, but not great pop.
Yeah, he could hit a home run once in a while, yeah.
Yeah, but he had some speed in his youth.
Early years, yeah.
Inducted to the Hall of Fame 2007, receiving 97.6% of the vote because somebody felt he did not deserve to go in on the first time. Joined the 3,000 hit club on August 6, 1999. He also had his 2,000th career hit on August 6th in 1993, and his mother was born on August 6th. So That's a special day in the Gwynn household. Final one making his debut today, 1993, was Raul Mondesi, who we talked about last week and will not talk about this week.
Yeah, he's having a swell time.
Yeah. But, I mean, those are, you make a team that just the basis of it is Honus Wagner, Bob Feller, Juan Marichal, Louis Tiant, and Tony Gwynn. But that's a good team right there.
Yeah, that's solid.
All right, Mark, let's go ahead. BP is over. Grounds crew moving the cage back out there. We just put it in center field like they did at Old Forbes Field here.
I would like to discuss one more thing out of BP, just because GWAR will probably never come up again on this podcast. I'm just curious, who's your favorite member of GWAR?
Oh, I don't know them by name. I like to celebrate their catalog as a whole more than individual.
You seem like a Beefcake the Mighty kind of guy.
Yeah, well, that was Beefcake was one of my nicknames at school.
Yeah, I'm sure. I am a big fan of Blothar the Berserker of Scumdogia. Big fan.
Oh, Scumdogia. They're still trying to get in NATO, aren't they?
They are, the whole planet.
Yeah, Scumdogia.
Yeah, so, Blothar, just had to bring him up. Just
Blothar of the Hill people.
Sort of. Yeah.
That was I'm going to consider that a deep cut. There.
That is quite a reference. I knew what you were talking about.
I'm glad you got it. Blothar and Lothar. Thundar the Barbarian, by the way, very underrated. I loved me some Thundar.
I couldn't agree more. I loved Thundar the Barbarian.
Yeah, and he had a lightsaber kind of thing too.
He did. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go watch some Thundar later today. All right.
There you go.
I got a couple of stories here. It's Old-Timey week here. In this segment this week, I got a couple of Old-Timey stories. Now, I don't know who this story is about, or even when it happened, or even what league it is in, because the article never mentions the player's name. But it was retold by nobody's favorite owner, racist Clark Griffith. So Seattle, and this is Old-Timey. So this is early 1900s is what I'm guessing. Seattle had an outfielder, again, he's just referred to as a player. But according to this article, his arm was, quote, deader than Ramses II and nearly as dead as Ramses I, end quote. Now, I don't know how that would work. Wasn't Ramses I dead before Ramses II?
I'm not sure if they died in order of birth or not.
Or is this like a BC thing where it counts backwards until you get to 0 and then it goes forward? I don't know.
I don't think they start with like Ramses the 18th and hope that there's 17 more.
You've got to keep going. That was the thing. But I don't know. I was told there would not be math required to host this podcast, and somebody lied.
Good thing too.
Yeah. Anyway, Seattle is playing Butte, Montana, so you can tell that this is not a major league game.
Was this nationally televised?
Well, probably. In fact, I remember you talking to me about this game. This was one of your first games you worked. The field, as was often the case in places like this, think of the early polo grounds before it was enclosed. The field had no real walls along the foul lines and sometimes the outfield wall. So people would come to these games in their horse-drawn carriages or just ride a horse, and then they would tie it up alongside the field, which I assumed was so it was easier to tailgate. I don't know. There wasn't a lot of information here. But let's get into the game. With a runner on third, a Butte batter, again, that's all it says, a Butte batter, hit a long fly ball to this unnamed dead-armed player in left. He heads towards the foul line to catch this, and as he does so, he startles some of the horses that are hanging out there. Unfortunately, they were not tied very tightly to a post or whatever they tie them to, and attached to some of these horses was a carriage. So they get spooked and they take off. So Dead-Arm McGee, which is what I'm calling him, catches the ball, and before he can stop himself, he collides with this now runaway carriage and falls in it. The Butte runner on third casually starts to jog home, knowing that the outfielder had no arm. The runaway carriage, though, is headed straight for home plate with the outfielder and the ball in the back of it. The runner pausing to see this spectacle. Just no clue what's happening. And then all of a sudden, the Seattle outfielder jumps out of the carriage and tags the now stunned runner.
Wow.
Now, of all the baseball stories that never actually happened, I feel this one never happened the most.
This is a deep never happened.
I mean, I think Clark Griffith was, well, he was a lot of things, I'll tell you that. But I think he might have had a couple of drinks before he told this one, because there's no way this happened.
Maybe some opium.
Yeah, yes.
Some laudanum.
Yeah. Now I could see a horse getting loose and running across a field or whatever, but nobody's falling into a carriage with the ball and then rolling out right up to a runner who has stopped to watch this spectacle and getting tagged out. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but if there's a runaway horse bolting towards me carrying a carriage or pulling a carriage, I'm not going to be close enough for anyone to tag me.
Yeah.
Tell you that.
And if he would have, I'm thinking I would have moved just to be nowhere near it, not knowing where.
Exactly.
Then he's going to be ruled out of the baseline, though. So,
well, if he's that hardcore.
All right. So, sticking with the old-timey, this one's got a little bit more meat on the bone. There's some names here. So, our favorite Cleveland Spiders were in Boston playing the Bean Eaters at this point. If you remember, the Bean Eaters then became the Boston Braves, then became the Milwaukee Braves, and then became the Atlanta Braves. But they played at South End grounds, which butted up against some train tracks in the outfield wall. So one of the great features, I love how they called it a great feature of this park, was that a lot of trash collected against the outfield wall as passing trains would go by. They would stir it up and it would go up in the air and it would come down. Some of it would get on the field and just be up against this wall. So the Spides, which is the new nickname I'm giving the Spiders.
That shuts it down. That really cuts it down.
I'm saving why use more word when fewer do.
Yeah.
See, there was a deep office cut. I didn't figure you'd get that one.
No, office I'm not going to get.
No, so the Spides are batting. Jim McCallier, he sounds Scottish, smashed a line drive to the gap, rolls all the way to the wall, and right into a discarded soup can against the wall. Now, you know how something that just barely fits in something else is really hard to get out of that thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, that was the case here. Hall of Famer Hugh Duffy was the Bean Eaters outfielder. Goes to retrieve this ball and frantically tries to dislodge the ball from the soup can. He's like hitting the top of the can like it's ketchup or something is what I'm seeing. But the ball's not moving. The runner is now rounding second, headed for third. So Hugh just picks up the can and chucks it to the cutoff man. I'm guessing it probably didn't get back to the infield very quickly, seeing as how he's throwing a soup can and not the ball. So the runner sees this and rounds third, heading for home, looking for that inside the park home run. The cutoff man gets the can eventually, throws it home. The catcher grabs it and tags the runner out just as he's about to score. Is he safe? Is he out? Nobody knows at this point. He's been tagged with a soup can, right? So I don't know which way they ruled it, but I'm sure the other manager challenged it. It went to New York, instant replay. Probably took a while. The runner was ruled safe because allegedly at the time that this game took place, the runner had to be touched with the actual ball to be called out.
Ah, I see.
Now, I have been unable to find a rule ever saying that the runner had to be touched with the actual ball because it sounds, old-timey baseball, it kind of sounds like something might happen, but fielders are wearing gloves at this point. I mean, you catch a ball in the glove and you tag somebody, right? That's not tagging them with the ball. So this story seems much more probable than the horse carriage story, but I am still very suspicious about this story.
Yeah, well, you kind of left off the most important piece that would really, answer some of the questions that we have.
What kind of soup was it?
Yes, exactly. How'd you guess?
Split pea.
Okay. Well, then it becomes obvious he should have been out.
Why? What soup? What kind of soup would make him safe?
Chicken noodle.
Chicken noodle, yeah, because that's chicken. Is that chicken soup for the baseball soul or something like that? But I get it. No, because this is safe. You're feeling sick or you're down. It's a comfort food. You're safe.
There's a million reasons. There really are.
Well, there you go. 2 old-timey baseball stories. I don't believe either of them.
No, of course not.
But this is a baseball history podcast, so we don't have to be factual. We can just make up whatever we want, apparently.
I can make up better than that stories. I'm sorry.
All right. This is what we're going to do. Next week, we're both going to come with 3 short stories. 2 real, 1 made up. Bam. Content. There we go. Join us next week. That's what we're doing.
Okay, that's next week's show.
That's what I just put it here in my thing here. So that's what's happening next week.
Okay.
And then maybe we won't tell anybody until the next episode which of those 6 stories, which 2 are not real. Although it'd be pretty easy to find out.
Knowing from my writing abilities, I think mine's going to be obvious.
Well, wait, all you have to do is match the horse carriage story. It's not that tough.
And it involved the band Gwar.
And Art Fuman.
Yes, Art may be in there as a special guest organist for Gwar.
All right, that's going to do it for our main segment here. Let's get ready to head into the final segment of the show. It's time for the time where, Mark, we go head to head, and we've got some cardboard things that we throw at each other. It's like ninja stars and all that. Did you ever have a ninja star?
I had one. I never could get it to stick to the cardboard.
Oh boy, we had though. If you had a ninja star where I grew up, I mean, first of all, you were pretty badass. Also, you were probably likely in trouble because if anybody flashed one of those, I thought I was seriously going to die from a ninja star. The way that the teachers made it sound so dangerous.
You could put Butter's eye out doing that.
I thought I was going to get offered free drugs wherever I went and that I would die by a ninja star.
Yes. Well, my biggest concern from watching so many cartoons was that I was going to fall into quicksand.
Oh, yeah. Quicksand. I know how to get out of quicksand just because I was so worried. I learned how to get out of it through many.
I read it in the
Boy's Life
scenario survival.
Handbook. I learned it in Boy's Life.
Oh, good.
I don't know where I'm pulling Boy's Life and Weeblos and all this stuff from. Apparently, I'm going to be a scoutmaster. All right, enough of this. Let's get on to Wax Pack's Heroes.
Here we go.
Wax Pack Hero! Gonna pull a Wax Pack Hero! Stars in his eyes. Hero! On a podcast tonight.
All right, Mark, we're going to go and look at some packs from 1991. I got some 1991 scorecards here that I'm going to open up. If you're new here, this is how we play this game. We are each going to take a card. We're going to play just like the card game War, where we each throw down a card. But what we're going to do here is we're going to take the Baseball Reference War of the Year of the cards, in this case, 1991. We're going to add those up. Whoever has the highest total is going to win that round. A couple of things can add or subtract to that score. We're just calling them general 80s baseball aesthetics. That means things like real stirrups, a good mustache, eye black, flip down sunglasses, science teacher sunglasses, anything like that. Extra 1/10 of a point. If they're wearing 2-in-1s, which is probably going to happen here in 1991, that's a minus 1/10 of a point. Any awards won that year, like Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, MVP, All-Star, or won a Gold Glove, that's a half a point for each of them. If there's a Hall of Famer on the card, it doesn't matter if they're in focus or not. If we see Cal Ripken Jr.'s left earlobe, it counts. That is a whole extra point of war. Ricky Henderson shows up in either, for anybody, I win that round. Nolan Ryan shows up for anybody. Mark, you win that round. Pop culture references that we can easily find, that's a half a point each, unless you're like Steve Sachs and you were on Sabrina the Teenage Witch and The Simpsons. He did not appear on Seinfeld. He really should have. But any of those three shows, you get a whole point. If they were suspended during their career for serious stuff, like the Mitchell Report or DV or anything like that, we're going to minus a half a point because that's not cool. So, Mark, I've got cards here from this 1991 pack. I've got 5 in my left hand and 5 in my right hand. Which would you like?
Right hand.
Right hand. All right, I'm going to have you go first. Your first card is a rookie prospect here for the Twins. I remember him. I don't think you're going to get a lot of points out of it, but it is Scott Leyes.
Scott Leyes. I remember how to spell it.
Leyes, he hardly knows us. Hey. Let's see. Sorry about that. That was really bad.
Terrible.
Let's see. 9 years in the big leagues, 6 with Minnesota, 2 with Kansas City, 1 with Cleveland. In 1991, his first full year in the big leagues. He appeared in 109 games. Not bad. 286 average, 378 on base. 5 home runs, 20 RBI, 5 stolen bases, a 116 OPS plus. And that is good for a WAR of 1.8 for Scott Leyes.
I'll take it.
Yeah, good news for you here. He also has real stirrups on. So that'll be a 1.7. No, wait. Start over here. So 1.8 plus the stirrups will be a 1.9. Nothing else on this card is going to help you out.
Not much out there.
Does he? 1991 against Atlanta in the World Series, hit a game-winning home run off Tom Glavine, breaking up a 2-2 tie in the 8th inning of Game 2.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty impressive. Yeah, obviously Smoltz and Morris went, I think, 9 or 10 innings each in Game 7. But here, Tom Glavine in the 8th inning in a World Series game for things you don't see anymore. But, nothing else going to help you out there. So that's a 1.9. Not too bad. I think you might win this one because I have got his teammate with the Twins, pitcher Dave West.
Dave West. Okay.
I do not remember Dave West off the top of my head. Well, he pitched for 10 years in the big leagues, so you can guess his handedness. 10 years for the lefty, 4 with Minnesota and Philly, 2 with the Mets, 1 with Boston. 1991, he went 4-4 with Minnesota, 4.54 ERA, 12 starts out of his 15 appearances, 71 innings, 66 hits, 52 strikeouts, a 94 ERA plus, and that will be good for a WAR of 0.6. Nothing on this card is going to help me out, though. Let's see. Traded by the Mets with a player to be named later, Rick Aguilera and Kevin Tapani to the Twins for Frank Viola. Be a pretty big trade there.
Weird. David West passed away in 2022 of brain cancer, and he was the 6th former Phillies player to die of brain cancer since 2003.
Oh, that's right. Because remember, they were talking about the turf at the old vet being the possible cause of all these Phillies getting cancer. Lenny Dykstra perseveres.
Yes. Ken Brett, Tug McGraw, Johnny Oates, John Vukovic, and Darren Dalton.
Jeez. I think all of Lenny Dykstra's tobacco, steroids, and other assorted cooties made him immune to that stuff.
Yeah, must have.
That's too sad. But good news for you. That's a win for you. All right. Oh, well, you've got a Hall of Famer here.
Oh, right on.
All right. You're going to like this. You have got from the Seattle Mariners. You have got Edgar Martinez.
Oh, he of the Designated Hitter Award.
Let's see here. Edgar, we do want to mention the cousin of my guy, Carmelo Martinez. 18 years in the big leagues, every single professional at bat with the Seattle Mariners over those 18 years. 1991, let's see, no awards somehow. 307 average, 405 on base, 14 home runs, 52 RBI. He only had 52 RBI in 150 games.
Wow.
The Mariners couldn't have been very good. I'm just saying, if Edgar's only driving in 52 with those numbers, that's not good. 138 OPS plus, and that equals a WAR of 6.1. Plus, he's a Hall of Famer, so that'll be a 7.1. He is actually playing third base here. This is an action shot. He has got real stirrups on, which is impressive. He has also got just a beautiful mustache on that I'm going to give you 0.2 of a point there. It's a keeper.
I don't think he's got much in the way of pop culture.
No, I mean, if you are from the Pacific Northwest, you know that there is a classic Mariners commercial that he is in with a lamp or whatever. I think it was
Eagle Hardware, which is now Lowe's.
Oh, well, when I still lived there before I left, they were still Eagle, I thought. But that's too bad.
He holds it up. It's a bat, and it's got, a light and a lampshade on it. And he says, "It's a light bat."
Let's see. He met his wife on a blind date. So did I. There you go. Edgar and I. One and the same. And, of course, a Hall of Famer. So that is going to be a 7.4. This is going to be very hard to beat. I have got pitcher for the Dodgers, John Wetland. Now, John Wetland was on our do not talk about list. Yes. But he has been, what's the word? I want to say he's been proven innocent. I don't know, admonished?
The word you are looking for is exonerated.
Exonerated. There we go. From all said awful crimes that he was accused of, I don't know that means he really was. We'll just generally talk about him. We won't go into depth. Overall, 12 years in the big leagues, 4 with Texas, 3 with the Dodgers and the Expos, and 2 with the Yankees. 1991 with the Dodgers. He only appeared in 6 games, went 1-0, no ERA, only 9 innings pitched, a ERA plus of nothing. It's blank. Not enough time, I don't think. And so that will be a WAR of 0.3. He's got real stirrups on, but yada, yada. You have won that. You are up 2-0. It's a nice runaway here so far.
A good start.
Yeah. All right. You have got next a outfielder for the Padres. It is Sean, don't call me Abner Doubleday, a.k.a. Sean Abner. In case you were going to look for Sean Doubleday.
For Sean Doubleday? Long lost relative?
Yeah. 6 years in the big leagues, 5 with the Dads, and then a little bit of time with the Angels and the White Sox. 1991, he split those time that year. Part of it with San Diego, part of it with California. Overall, 194 average, 236 on base, 13 home runs, 14 RBI, a 49 OPS plus. And that is good for a WAR of minus 0.4.
Ouch.
There is nothing on this card that is going to help you out. So that'll be a minus 0.4. He's got some sweet old school, like Franklin batting gloves.
Nice.
Let's see. First round overall draft pick by the Mets. Number 1 overall, 1984. He was traded by the Mets with Kevin Brown, Stan Jefferson, and Kevin Mitchell to the Padres for Adam Jing, Kevin McReynolds, and Gene Walter. I don't think that one worked out so well for the Mets.
Nah, he's also a complete loser.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, I won't hesitate to call him a loser.
But his son is a professional Call of Duty player.
Which is interesting.
But, yeah. Oh, my God. This guy really pisses me off. All right. We're not going to even talk about him anymore.
Let's just quickly say it was animal cruelty and it sucks.
All right, let's go. My card is also a Padre, and it is pitcher Greg Harris. Now, Greg Harris is he the one that threw with both hands, or is he just the one that has the card with him holding up?
Greg A. Harris.
Oh, is this another Chris Carpenter situation?
Yes.
Let's see. This Greg Harris is Greg A. Harris.
Okay, Greg A., not Greg W.
Let's see, Greg W. Harris, 8 years in the big league, 6 with San Diego, 2 with Colorado, 1 with Minnesota. 1991, 9-5 with the Dads, 2.23 ERA in 20 games. Those were all starts, 3 complete, 2 shutouts, 133 innings, 116 hits, 95 strikeouts, a 171 ERA plus. And that is good for a WAR of 3.1. As long as he was not convicted of animal cruelty, this is going to be my first win, I think.
There you go.
So, but he did have some problems off the field. All right. So that is my first win over Sean. I'm not even going to say his name anymore. All right. Your next card is, this is going to be, you're going to get mustache points just right off the bat. For the Yankees, it is Steve Balboni.
Oh, bye-bye Balboni.
Bye-bye. You know, if he would have been on the Yankees when Seinfeld was, doing all the baseball players, this, I think, would have been a match made in heaven.
No question about it.
Steve Balboni, 11 years in the big leagues, 5 with the Royals, 5 with the Yankees, and then Texas and Seattle for parts of seasons. 1991, unfortunately for you, he did not appear in the big leagues. He spent that year and 1992 and part of 1993 in the minors, working things out, I guess.
Yes.
But the good news for you is I'm going to give you 0.2 of a point on the mustache.
Definitely. If there's schnoz points, he should get some of those too.
Yeah, but we're not gonna. He can't help that, so we're gonna steer clear of.
I'm just saying if. That's all.
The curse of the Balboni, which was an idea that no baseball team with a player hitting more than 36 home runs could win a World Series. That was the case until 2001 when Luis Gonzalez did it for the Diamondbacks. Wow.
There you go. Wow. Classic case of a mistaken softball player who got put in the big leagues.
Did he go on to play for Steel? The Steel softball
if he
team.
Didn't, he missed an opportunity.
All right. So you've got Steve Balboni. I have got a guy we have definitely talked about before because he was missing part of his finger. It's Kevin Wickander here with Cleveland.
Yes.
And it was a farm accident in his childhood, which is a rarity with modern players. Overall, 6 years in the big leagues, 4 with Cleveland, 2 with the Brewers, 1 with the Reds and Tigers. 1991 was not one of those years. He did not appear in the big leagues. Neither of these players did. He's got a mustache, but it's not a 0.2 of a mustache. It's a 1/10. So unless Kevin Wickander has some sort of pop culture reference that would be a shock, you're going to win by, he spent time in prison. So.
By the way, Jeff, I think you're thinking of Bob Wickman.
Oh, I am sorry. I've got other things on my mind today. It's
the Wick Man.
The Wick Man.
Wickander. I can see how you can get those confused, though. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean they're close. Good enough for government work. All right, that round will go to you. It is now 3-1. You are ahead. Your next card is reliever for the Expos, Dave Schmidt. Let's see, 12 years in the big leagues, 5 with the Rangers, 3 with the Orioles, 2 with the Expos, and then Seattle and the White Sox to end his career. 1991 with Montreal, 0-1 in 4 games with a 10.38 ERA and a 39 ERA plus. That is good for a -0.3 WAR. And, I'm tempted because it's just an old Expos uniform, but I can't do it because the entire team was wearing it.
Right.
Like if he chose to wear this on his own, somehow got away with it and they got a picture, I'd give it to you.
But I understand.
No mustache or anything like that.
I think there was a Dave Schmidt that was a catcher at the same time.
This is definitely a pitcher.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay. Along the same lines. One was a pitcher, one was a catcher.
Think about it. No, I'm saying and just saying. Think about it this way. If you say to me, hey, Mark, you putting on weight? I go, well, you saying I'm fat? No, I'm just saying. See, it softens it.
Okay. All right. You might lose a little weight. All right. Let's see here. Nothing spectacular to talk about Dave Schmidt off the field, so we will go to my card, which is none other than the Hatchman, Mickey Hatcher. And there is no large baseball glove on this card.
Not on this one. That's worth extra points, by the way, just because it's cool.
Yeah, if we would have pulled one of those, that is definitely extra points. Mickey Hatcher, 12 years in the big leagues, 6 with Minnesota, 6 with the Dodgers. Unfortunately for me, he retired after the 1990 season. But fortunately for me, I've got nothing negative here on his card. I mean, pop culture, his cards are classic with the big hands, the big glove. But I don't think I even need to go there. I don't need to worry about it.
Mickey Hatcher, I was going to say he liked to run to first after he walked.
Yeah, so does Adam Rosales.
Yes.
Was featured in previous presentations to the tune of the Mickey Mouse Club. Is that like his walk-up?
It must have been something like that. I love this. 88 World Series, hitting a first-inning home run in Game 1 and sprinting full speed around the bases instead of jogging, prompting NBC broadcaster Joe Garagiola to say, he's the cover of the Saturday Evening Post, and he's running like he's afraid they're going to take it off the board.
Now, I love Joe Garagiola, but how would him running around the bases be the cover of the Saturday Evening Post?
Well, because.
Norman Rockwell's guys were usually just sitting there, right? In one place. But,
yeah, a lot of the time.
All right, never mind.
But I like that he's running like they're going to take it off the board.
Yeah, now
That's
that one's good. All right, so that makes it 3-2. We've got quite a match here. Your card is a lot of Padres. I like this guy, Bay Area native. He does A's pre- and post-game shows on TV sometimes. And when I was on the field a couple of years ago before the game, he walked by me and everyone thought he was Ricky Henderson. It's Bip Roberts. I see there is some similarity, but also, I mean, come on.
No, yeah. I'm sorry.
Went to Shabbat College, where I played just last week. All turf field. Not a fan.
So you're one level to Bip Roberts.
Well, I'd say he's quite a few above me for his 12 years in Major League Baseball. 7 with the Dads, 2 with the Royals and Reds, and then Cleveland, Detroit, and the A's. 1991 with San Diego. 281 average, 342 on base, 3 home runs, 32 RBI, 26 stolen bases, a 92 OPS plus, and that will be good for a 2.3 WAR. Let's see here. He has got on some 2-in-1s, but he also has a mustache. No Mims bands. Like, it's close, but no, those are not Mims bands. So those will all cancel out. So that'll be a 2.3.
I love this. This is pretty new, actually. Now, I'm not going to try and say the name of the mayor of Oakland because I'm going to screw it up.
Well, you can ask the FBI as they are investigating.
Yes, I know. Well, he said he's interested in possibly running to succeed the current mayor of Oakland should this mayor be recalled.
Well, if he is going to make keeping the A's, well, I mean, she said she's made keeping the A's a priority, but that didn't work out, obviously.
Hey, he can count on my campaign donation. He's Bip Roberts.
I'm going to wait and see about his politics before I donate.
Oh, just count me in.
Okay. You don't live here, but you're gonna
yeah, absolutely. It's Bip.
All right. Well, I have got a Hall of Famer. He's a spitter, though. You got to be careful. It's Robbie Alomar. Now, he got suspended for that, right?
I would hope so.
Now, we say if you're suspended while you're playing for doing something bad, that's a minus half a point. So, but he's a Hall of Famer, too. So it'll just be a plus half a point for his Hall of Fame. Let's see. Robbie Alomar, of course, brother of Sandy, son of Sandy Sr. Wow. All-star. Just a lot. 12 consecutive All-Star, 10 Gold Gloves, won 2 World Series, 4 Silver Sluggers. Let's see, in his 17 years in 1991 with Toronto, he was an All-Star, also won a Gold Glove. So this is, I don't think I'm going to lose this round. Overall hit 295, 354 on base, 9 home runs, 69 RBI, 53 stolen bases, a 115 OPS plus, and that equals a WAR of 4.6, which is well above your 2.3, and then I'll have a lot of extra on top of that for the superlatives. Traded with Joe Carter by the Padres to the Blue Jays for Tony Fernandez and Fred McGriff.
I remember that.
I wanted to bring this up. I forgot I was going to bring this up in BP. Fred McGriff, the crime dog, right?
Yeah.
Crime dog, of course, is Officer McGruff, the keep kids safe, whatever guy. Did you know that the guy, and I just read this, and I'm glad Fred McGriff's name came up, the guy that voiced McGruff is in prison.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he did not follow his own advice.
What a terrible twist of fate.
Yes. Right, there's your fun
fact.
He
did not take a bite out of crime.
No. Well, he tried to, but...
He took a bite, all right.
Yeah, he swallowed it.
And swallowed it, yeah.
Oh, wow. In 96, a Canadian woman became obsessed with Robbie and plotted to kill him. She was arrested with a loaded gun after telling security at the Sky Dome of her plans. What? Yeesh. Now...
That's a good idea.
Hey, can you just let me in? I've got a gun, and I'm gonna shoot Roberto Alomar. Yeah,
here's what I'm gonna do, guys.
Yeah,
here's what I'm gonna do.
Let's see. We don't need to talk much about him. I mean, he's a great player. I don't know. He's always been on my bad list because of the spitting incident.
Yeah, and that unfortunately defines him and his career, but which is too bad because had that never happened, he would be very highly regarded because he was quite a good ball player.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah,
yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah. That really one incident where he completely lost control, and that really, maybe it's just for fans our age, colored his entire career.
Yeah, it did.
All right, we're tied up now at 3 apiece. I thought this was going to be, I thought you were going to blow me out here. This is going to be a good card for you. Pitcher for the Blue Jays, it's Dave Stieb.
Oh, nice. One of my favorites from that era.
David Andrew Stieb. He's got a mustache, you know that. Not a two-pointer, but he got it there. 1991. First of all, 7-time All-Star, but unfortunately for you, not 1991. 4-3 with a 3.17 ERA. 9 games. He was hurt this year. 59 innings, 52 hits, 29 strikeouts, a 1.34 ERA plus, and that is good for a WAR of 1.6 plus the mustache. Nothing else on this card is going to help you out. Do want to mention though that he toiled away in the minors for 4 years from 1944 through 1997 trying to make a comeback. Eventually got back up to the big leagues. Only appeared in 19 games and then retired.
Steve had a high-strung personality. Okay, well, it's good to know.
So did Roberto Alomar.
Yeah, apparently so.
The Blue Jays always had good pitching in those days. Brother of Steve. Why would you do that? That's
Steve.
If you want to know more about Dave Stieb, go ahead and listen to our friends over at the 1988 Tops podcast. I know they had an episode recently about Dave Stieb because I listened to it, but no Steve. All right, so that'll be a 1.4 for you. I have got pitcher for the Expos, Kevin Gross me out.
Kevin Gross.
Let's see. He's a Bay Area guy. I like it. Let's see. 15 years in the big league, 6 in Philadelphia, 4 with the Dodgers, 2 with Texas and Montreal, and 1 with the Angels. 1991, with the Dodgers, he went 10-11 with a 3.58 ERA in 46 games and 10 starts. Had 3 saves as well. Let's see. Overall, a 100 even ERA, and that is good for a WAR of 0.6. I'm going to go ahead and say he's got a 0.2 of a mustache, but that's still not going to help me out here to beat your David Stieb. First round draft pick by the Phillies, 11th overall in 1981. Traded by the Phillies to Montreal for Jeff Parrott and Floyd Yeomans.
Something completely crazy about this guy. May 14th, 1990, he was pitching against Fernando Valenzuela, and in the same exact inning, they each hit a home run off of each other.
In the same inning?
Same inning.
Wow, that is...
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is. Let's see. Caught scuffing the ball with sandpaper. I remember that in 1987. Mm-hmm. Let's see. In 1992, threw a no-hitter against the Giants. And in 1986, gave up Rafael Palmeiro's first career home run.
Oh, well, he started the ball rolling then.
Yeah, nothing there is going to help me out. So that will go to you, and you are up 4-3. I
got a chance here. I got a chance to win it.
Clinging here. Oh, boy. Well, I don't. This is probably going to be a really good card for you. And we just passed. He just got paid a couple of weeks ago. This is a Master Blaster card, and it's Bobby Bonilla.
That's right. We just celebrated Bobby Bonilla Day not too long ago.
Bobby Bonilla. Let's see. Bobby Bo. Overall, 16 years in the big leagues. 6 with the Bucks, 5 with the Mets, and then a bunch of other teams. He's a good baseball immaculate grid guy. Baseball immaculate grid. I just made up a new thing. Yeah. 1991, good news for you, All-Star. Led the league in doubles with 44 hits, 304, 391 on base, 18 home runs, 100 RBI, a 149 OPS plus. Came in third in the MVP balloting and had a 3.9 WAR. So you're going to get all-star points there. Of course, he's got a mustache. And he's got real stirrups on, too. He usually didn't wear real stirrups, so you got lucky whenever they took this picture. He was stirruped up.
I definitely did.
Let's see. Are we going to give him extra points for playing cards in the clubhouse during the NLCS and with Ricky? Well, this is interesting. Let's see. In 1985, he broke his right leg in a collision with teammate Bip Roberts.
Oh, there you go. And we've come full circle.
Yeah, that's professional podcasting. Well, there's Ricky's name right there. 1999 NLCS. Yeah, it looks like he does a lot of charity work now. So good for him. Good. I mean, he's making $1 million a year, so
why not?
Let's see. So that'll be a 4.6 for you. So that's a good card. I have got a 1990 highlight. I know what this one is. It is closer for the White Sox, Bobby Thigpen, a battle of the Bobbies. So this record is for saves in a single season, which I believe Eck had just set like the year or so before. Then Bobby came by, and every single time there was a closing chance, he was in there. 1991, 67 games he appeared, 7-5 mark for a guy. Well, I guess the season before he set the record with 57. He only had 30 saves in 1991, 3.49 ERA, 47 strikeouts in 69 innings, a 115 ERA plus, and that is a WAR of 0.1. 0.1. Closers, you don't get that WAR. Every now and then we'll get somebody, but
they don't have the best model for WAR for closers.
No, WAR's awful. Let's get rid of it. Oh, wait. No.
What is it good for?
Okay, John Smoltz. Oh, we've talked about him leaving a Stanley Cup playoff game and tripping and triggering internal bleeding.
Yeah, it's his old hockey injury.
At the good old hockey game? Yeah, nothing much to talk about here. Not a lot of pop culture this week. A little bit disappointed.
No, not much.
But, Mark, that is going to give you 5 wins here today.
How about it?
And on the scoreboard, that'll bump you up to 4 now. I am still ahead, 6 wins to your 4. But that was some interesting names here this week. We'll take it.
It's a battle.
It's a battle. All right. So that will do it for this week's Wax Packs Heroes. Also going to do it for this week's show. Thank you for listening once again. If you want more of us, you can find us in the show notes. We've got links all over the place on social medias. We are at 2 Strike Noise. That is at TWO Strike Noise. And we also have an email address.
Do we?
We do.
Oh, yeah,
I hope we do. I hope you're checking.
Yes. It's 2 Strike Noise, spell it out TWO, strike noise @gmail.com.
All right, we get more. I think we get more emails than anything else, but that's fine.
A lot from authors.
Yeah, a lot of. We're a highly sought after book podcast, but right. We appreciate it, and
we do.
We just can't have everybody on because we got to pick
Maybe
and
we'll
choose.
Start a podcast just on baseball books.
And
we can have everybody.
I already know of one, and it's got like 800 episodes or so, and it's very good. So I don't think we need to go there. But that'll do it for our 2 Strike Noise, our podcast for this week. Don't forget, next week, we're each going to come up with 3 stories. 2 true, 1 not. see if we can fool each other.
Sounds good.
So look forward to that. But we will see you next week on the next episode of Two Strike Noise.
Thank you. God bless you. Have a great day.